Hey guys, okay, I am so thrilled to be making this video. I feel like I need to give you, there's just gonna be so much information in this video. So, okay, let's back up. Melasma. Melasma is one of the hardest, this is right from my dermatologist's mouth, hardest skin conditions to treat. It's a beast. He has called it another word, which I will not say on the internet, but it's not a nice word. It rhymes with witch. It's super hard to treat and it's very finicky and it's very sensitive. Heat can make it worse. Heat, i.e. lasers, can also make it better. Chemical peels can make it worse. Chemical peels can also make it better. Different skincare products. It could work for it. It could work against it. You don't know. There is no one-size-fits-all recipe to curing melasma, to fixing it. The other tricky part with melasma is it can come back. It can come back with a vengeance. Melasma is it's an overproduction of melanin in your skin. Things that can trigger it and make it worse: hormones, pregnancy. That's when mine really started. When I was pregnant with Addie, started to get it a little bit, the mustache area. Then I was pregnant with Bentley, started to get like here and here. When I was pregnant with Leo, it was like, my face was unrecognizable to me. I will insert a picture or a video, whatever I have. I can show you it at its worst. And the tricky part when you're pregnant is you can't use retinols and AHAs and all of the things that you can use to help treat it while you're pregnant. So it's not fun. And for a lot of us, myself included, it's an insecurity. It's like you could have the most perfect skin, flawless, smooth, but you have these dark patches that you can only cover up with makeup. So for me, it's something that I have battled. Addie is 9 years old, and like I said, it started getting really bad for me. If I look back, I mean, I have spent so much time looking back at old photos and video and really like analyzing my skin, and I really think that it started to pick up when I was pregnant with her 9 years ago. So it has been a long time that I have been dealing with this, and I know first world problems, a lot of people have skin conditions that are far worse. I'm very lucky and fortunate. I've never been a huge sufferer of acne. I have pretty normal to dry skin. Melasma has just been the thing that has been my biggest insecurity, even more than my wrinkles or my marionette lines, which is our other insecurities. But it's been a lot of time, a lot of research, doctor's appointments, facials, chemical peels, lasers, a lot of money, skincare, prescriptions. It's been a journey. I feel like a lot of you that have been with me from the beginning on YouTube and when I started sharing it more on Instagram have been in it, in the thick of it with me, and you've been on this journey with me. And I also just want to make this video for anybody that is also suffering from melasma and is trying to find some help or advice or other people's experiences to learn from, because I know I have spent a lot of time on YouTube and Instagram and Google trying to find cases from other people or things that can help. So I'm hoping that this can be helpful to you if you are suffering from melasma. I feel like it affects a lot of people. Some people have like one small patch and it's not a big deal. Some people have it all over their face. My biggest concerns has always been in between my forehead, which all I have on my skin right now is some tinted sunscreen and some blush. So you can see I don't have any concealer or coverage. You can see it here. And this, you can see where it's a little bit darker here and it's a little speckled. This was far worse at one point. It's definitely gotten better. I have it over my eyebrow here. And then the two biggest parts of my face that I had it the worst were these dark lines. And the most frustrating part for me is I don't have dark circles under my eyes. You would think I would with 4 kids and no sleep. And I've never had like puffy eyes, which is genetic in my family. My dad has super puffy under eyes. He's been through it too to try to fix it, and it's genetic. And thankfully, knock on wood, I've never gotten that. But these dark circles does make me look like I have dark under eyes, and it ages you. So I've found a lot of makeup to help cover it, and I share that all on Instagram. I have a whole melasma highlight. But it's just been frustrating, and I've never given up on trying to figure it out because I feel like I'm just wired that way. Like I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to find a solution. I want to help other people. So yes, I have tried all of the skincare, all of the chemical peels, all of the dermatologist recommended things. I've spent so much money trying to fix this and nothing has seemed to work, and it's been very frustrating. I haven't tried a lot of lasers because my dermatologist always said to not, because lasers can really make it worse, and I just didn't want to take any chances. Going back to what I said triggers it. So hormones is a big thing. And even post-pregnancy, if your hormones are not balanced, if you're on birth control, if you are having like cycles, menopause, like hormones could be a big culprit for melasma. The other major thing is the sun and heat. I always just thought it was sun. Okay, wear sunscreen, put a hat on, sunglasses, stay out of the sun. No, heat can also trigger melasma. I've had conversations in DMs with followers before that suffer so bad from melasma that it's almost like hinders their day dealing with it, especially if you live in really warm climates. Heat is not something you can escape. Luckily for me, I'm in Pennsylvania. I only have to deal with the heat for a few months out of the year, and it's easy to avoid because I'm inside most of the time. But I remember talking to a follower in my DMs once, and she was sharing how she has this whole process, like from the minute she leaves her house, like she has full sunscreen, physical sunscreen, because there's a difference too. There's the chemical sunscreen, there's physical sunscreen. Puts on her sunscreen. She always has a hat on. She wears sunglasses. She starts her car before she gets in her car to make sure that it's cooled down, because the heat triggers her melasma. Also, if you ever were to open your oven, and the heat, the steam, I don't do steam during facials. When you're pouring out boiling pasta or vegetables and that steam, like that could trigger it. So it is something where I have just become so hyper aware, and I try to really stay out of the sun. Like I hate the sun. When I'm outside, I'm always with a baseball hat or some kind of hat covering my face. I always have sunscreen on. The problem with sunscreen though is you have to reapply it. You can't just put it on in the morning and be good for the day. You got to reapply your sunscreen. Like they say every half hour. So you got to be diligent. Find other sunscreens that you can put on, especially if you are someone like me that likes to wear makeup. You don't want to be wearing sunscreen all day, smearing your makeup all over. So there's sprays, there's face setting sprays, there's powders. We could go into a whole thing about that. It can be a really large inconvenience. But I have found something lately for the first time in at least 9 years that actually has removed the melasma from my face. And this all started because I was sharing my journey on Instagram, and a follower reached out and said, you have to look into this Picosure laser. Said that she did it and her melasma is completely gone. She's blown away. So then, of course, I took to Google and YouTube, and I was starting to Google stuff. Now, Picosure, I found out, is actually the same laser. It's not actually, it was never created as for a med spa. It was created to remove tattoos. And what it does and why it's so special is it's not a lot of heat applied to the skin, and it's the most highest whatever thing that you can possibly get to your skin. And what it does is it shakes up the pigment in your skin and breaks it up, and then your body reabsorbs that pigment. So you don't have downtime, you don't have a lot of pain, you don't have like the flaking skin like you would from a chemical peel or a lot of other lasers. Follower of mine, I owe her everything because I had never heard of this. It never came up in any of my searches in all my dermatologist appointments, and I've been through a few dermatologists, few different med spas. This has never been come up. This has never been brought up. There's been a lot of other lasers, more common lasers. They've been mentioned to me and offered to me a bunch of times. I never did them because I was so scared. Picosure has never come up. It was like, what the hell? I want to try it. Of course, there's no dermatologists or doctors that do it around where I live because it's not like a well-known medical laser. It's in my area for tattoo removal, but you can't go to a tattoo removal place and have them try to clear your skin. So I found this doctor. His name is Dr. Kole. He's actually a plastic surgeon. I will put his information in the description box if you're in the area. He's in Southampton, which is like, I think, Bucks County. It's about an hour and 15 minutes from my house. But when I tell you, like, I would get on a plane and fly to Hawaii if it meant like fixing this. That's how much of an insecurity it's been. And quite frankly, a pain in my ass. I think an hour, 15 minutes is like nothing. I left Dr. Cole's office. I just had my consultation with him. He said that my melasma is not bad at all. I think we are our own worst critics, and it's something I've been living with and having to see on top of, you know, not only just like the day-to-day, but like my job as looking at a camera at myself all day, so I am just very hyper aware and sensitive and a little insecure about it. But that meant a lot coming from somebody that's probably seen a lot worse than my case. So he went through all of the reasons for melasma, 2 being hormones and sun. I am not on birth control. I am done having kids. My cycles are normal, so I think my hormones are pretty good, and I know that this is solely from having kids because that's when it started. Started after I had Addie, and then just got worse with each baby after. When I was pregnant with Leo, it was the worst it's ever been. He took me through a few different lasers and why he wouldn't suggest them, and he also took me through chemicals, the main one being hydroquinone. He said he could prescribe me. I told him I've tried it all. I've done the prescription hydroquinone, over the counter, the medical grade, and he said the one that he could do like a prescription mixed with a Retin-A, but I forget why. He was talking a lot about science and I kind of lost him, but he wouldn't recommend it. So he said the Picosure would definitely be his recommendation versus like a CO2 laser, which heats up and will make me look great, after the laser, but it's really only taking the surface off. Whereas the Picosure laser is like picoseconds, like lots and lots it's very fast. And what it does is it vibrates and it shakes up the pigment, and then you naturally absorb the pigment back into your body. So it literally scares the pigment away, essentially. He said he recommends 4 treatments. He said if you need the 5th, he'll do it like complimentary, but he doesn't think that I'll need it. He said you start to notice results after the 1st, you really notice results after the 2nd and the 3rd, and then the 4th is just like a polish, he said. I am so excited, you guys. I have so much hope. I have so much hope I could cry. And he said to just keep up with the sun block, avoid the sun as much as you can, which I do, but I'm going to be even more diligent about just hats and reapplying sunscreen. And the other thing is, he said he doesn't care when I start typically, but he does not recommend me starting now in the summertime. So I booked my first one for October 17th, and then I booked till the next and the next and the next. So my last treatment I think is January 9th, and I'm going to take you along on the process and document the whole thing. He's a really nice guy. He's very funny, has a good sense of humor. His wife is one of the receptionists at the front desk, and she was very kind. The office is beautiful, beautiful. He's a plastic surgeon. I don't know if I said that. So he does a lot of surgeries. This is probably so easy for him to do something like this. But I also asked him about chemical peels and microneedling, all of which I've been doing, and he said, stop it. He said the chemical peels and the microneedling are not for pigment. They're more so for fine lines and wrinkles, and it's not really doing anything. So he told me to stop, and he also told me to stop going to med spas, which I don't go all that often. I get my Botox, but so that's where we're at. I'm really excited. I'm feeling really hopeful. I want to tell you the price too. So it's $750 per treatment, but if you pay for the 4 up front, it's $2,000. So you're essentially getting the 4th treatment for free, which I think is a great deal. I mean, when I look back to how much I've spent on chemical peels, skincare, and all of the treatments, microneedling, to me, $2,000 seems like nothing. I'm just being honest. If I'm telling you, this has been years of money and time and frustrations and let down. So I was expecting it to be a lot more, to be honest with you. But it can come back because of hormones and sun, but based on the fact that we are done having children, I think my hormones are pretty stable. I do avoid the sun as much as I possibly can between sunblocks and hats. I'm feeling very hopeful. He said he noticed this, very little, a little amount. He said to anybody else, they probably would never notice that. He said, these aren't really that bad, but I feel like they are. I just feel like I don't remember a time when I have looked at myself in the mirror where I didn't just see these lines. And of course my mustache, which I feel like I've always had because I'm Greek and Italian. I've always had a darker upper lip. I now have an acne scar here that I've covered up with concealer for today, but and then I feel like the melasma kind of rims around my my brows. You can kind of see here, kind of like circles around my eyes. So I do have some acne scars. Oh, I didn't tell you the other best part about this Pico laser. It also boosts your collagen and your elastin, which he said if I punched you in the face, that would boost your collagen. But this is more long-term, I guess he said, and most lasers boost your collagen, but this one specifically also boosts your elastin, which he said somebody my age, it's not that big of a deal yet, but somebody like his age or somebody older than me, you start to lose that as you get older. Gotta love aging. So I feel like that's a win. I'm gonna get tons of collagen shot to my face and elasticity back in my skin. So yeah, I'm really excited. It is worth the 1.5-hour drive. I want October to be here. I want the summer to be over because I just want to get this started, but I wanted to document my first consultation and we will see how this goes. I'm gonna insert a lot of footage because I've been documenting this whole process from my consultation with him to just pictures and videos. Went in with like a little skeptical because I really didn't want to get my hopes up, but I came out of that appointment so hopeful for the first time in a really long time. I went to my first appointment. So I just had my first Picosure laser done and I'm still not cleaned up yet. I left it on purpose. I wanted you guys to see. It hurt. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was expecting it to be uncomfortable, but some of the other videos I had seen from people made it sound like it didn't hurt. However, I do have a lot of pigment in my skin, and the more pigment you have, the worse it is. He said with each treatment, I'll have less and less pigment, so it's not going to hurt as bad. But if you've ever had microneedling, even being numbed, microneedling hurts me. This was like ×7, if that could give you any idea. And right now, like when we were done, it took about 15 minutes and the tech had like a cold blast blowing on me the whole time. He said it's like a $7,000 refrigerator. I don't know how I could have survived it or completed the treatment without the cold air. That definitely helped. Right now, my face feels like it is literally a flame on fire. And right when we were done, I was like, do I look like a tomato? And she goes, no, not at all. And I looked at the mirror and I was shocked because my face right now feels like it's beet bright red and it doesn't look red at all, which is crazy. It also feels a little bit swollen. Like if you've ever had numbing cream put on your face for a face treatment, kind of feels like that, but almost like a mask, like a tightening mask and a numbing sensation in one, if that makes sense. He said that the heat and the pain will go away in like 30 minutes. I did bring my sunscreen to put on in a little. I'm just letting my skin breathe right now. But he said I could put makeup on, definitely skincare, sunscreen, back in a month. He said the first treatment, I won't notice much of a difference. The second treatment, I'm gonna be like, damn. And then by the third treatment, you're like, double damn. So I'm so excited. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it hurt like a bitch, but pain is beauty. And honestly, anything that I can do to get rid of these freaking lines on my face, like I have the melasma here too, even my mustache area, like I don't have the same dark patches on my upper lip as I do here and here, but it's definitely darker. And he said it too, like it's definitely, and I think a lot of that is just being Greek and Italian. You guys, it sounds so trivial and it might be just a cosmetic thing, but maybe it's amplified because for my job, I'm looking back at myself all day, every day, but it's just an insecurity. And and I have good skin. Like my skin is clear. I feel like it's pretty youthful looking. And so most days I don't wear foundation and I'm very comfortable in my skin. I just hate these lines looking back at me. Like even this patch of melasma, you can see it bother me like it once did. It's just these two lines because I'm 37 years old. I don't have dark circles. I don't have puffy under eyes. I just have these lines. I don't have like the under eye conditions that a lot of people as you get older worry about or try to treat. it's my skin tone, and my pigment. So laser itself kind of felt like just micro needling, but worse. I did smell a little burning, smelled like burning flesh, and he said it was probably just the little hairs on my face, like the little peach fuzz burning off. It moves very quickly and it just makes like zappy sounds. And the more darker the pigment is, the louder it gets. It's not like super loud by any means, but like obviously it was super loud on these areas because that's where I have such dark pigment. Already kind of feels like it's subsiding, like it's still fiery, but it doesn't feel like it felt in the office. But overall, you guys, like I felt like a kid on Christmas Eve last night, knowing I had this appointment. I'm just so excited. I can't express enough. Like, I don't know, if there was like Botox, fillers, something else, like a quick fix that I could do to just disappear, like make these two lines disappear, I would do it. And if this is gonna give me just like, I don't even need like perfectly even skin. I just don't want to see these lines anymore. I've tried all the skincare. I've tried all the chemical peels. We were talking a lot during the appointment about a lot of those things, and he was saying like he's a plastic surgeon, so he gets a lot of reps in here trying to sell him different lasers and products and things, and you know, cool sculpting and all that we were talking about. And he was like, most of it out there is just bullshit. He was flat out. He was like, I need to see like results. I don't want to just read a study. I need to see results and not just like your best case scenario. And I really respect that. I trust him. I trust that this is gonna work. So he just said sunscreen, which you don't have to tell me twice. I feel like I bathe in sunscreen. I'll come back, we'll do it all over again. At least now I know what to expect. I'm just really excited. I'm happy that it's over with. I'm happy that we are on the road to getting these away. Wanted to start after my consultation in August, but obviously with it being summertime, not a good idea. So yeah, that is all for today. I'll update you. I really wanted to film it, but to be honest with you, I don't think I would have been able to handle it, like filming it, because I was like clenching my pants, and like I was just, because it was uncomfortable, you know. But and I did have those little, like, you know, those little goggles you put on when you go in the tanning bed. I had those on, so I wanted to film it, but I wasn't able to. Plus it was really loud. But I'm sure if you go online, it's the same laser that they use for tattoo removal, and I would imagine that a lot of these laser offices that do the tattoo removal probably don't have the cold machine that was blowing on me, and I legitimately don't know how you could do that. It hurt. It was painful. Like I said, I've done a lot of chemical peels and facial treatments, and I've had a lot of burning and products, but micro needling, yeah, he just goes over your skin. He goes over your whole face, not just the melasma treatments. He did go over by specific melasma points a lot more. If you've done micro needling, I would say it was like micro needling on steroids. It was hurt. It hurt. And I have a pretty high tolerance for pain, and I will be honest and say that it hurt. Although I have watched other videos from people that have done this and say that it doesn't hurt at all. So I'm thinking I just have a lot of pigment in my skin, and that's why it hurt me worse. But I'm sure it is different. The pain scales depending on what your skin makeup is. As I was driving, I'd say like it started to really calm down pretty much before I was even leaving the office. And I'd say within 10 minutes, my skin was back to normal. It wasn't burning anymore. It didn't hurt. It did feel like a little tight, almost like when you take off a mask, like a tightening mask, and you feel like you can't really move your face. It kind of felt a little swollen and tight. It didn't look swollen in the mirror. He said you could wear makeup again in an hour, put on some more sunscreen. I left it off though. I didn't put makeup on until later that night when I had dinner with some friends, and I put some makeup on later. But and he also warned me that it might get a little dark before it goes away, which freaked me out because I didn't want it any darker than it was. I wanted to just check in. This is day 2, and as the doctor said, these have gotten darker. I do have tinted sunscreen on. No redness, no irritation, not really any like flaking dry skin, but the only thing I've noticed is these lines have gotten super dark. I'm really hoping they go away, and it's only temporary though. By the 2.5 day, I started to notice my skin was peeling a little bit, nowhere near to where if you had a chemical peel, like not peeling like that, almost just like you used a retinol the night before and your skin's like flaking off. And I also noticed like it kind of got, it like tightened up a little bit. Like the melasma specifically was like almost like if you've had a chemical peel, you know, it's about to peel off. All right, I wanted to check in because it's today's the third day post-treatment, and I've never seen this before. It almost looks like it's peeling off, like the dark line. I'm gonna get close. I don't know if you can see that. Usually it just starts to like get dry skin and peely. This side has kind of tightened up a little bit, almost as if it's gonna start to peel, but this side almost looks like these are just gonna flake off. Very interesting. Still a little bit darker than how it should. And I really didn't expect to film this video. I was gonna just film it at the end, just give you like an overview of my experience. But when I tell you guys that next night, when I washed my face that night, my melasma was gone. Completely gone. It was like fresh new baby skin, not red irritation, but just like just a little bit red to where you could see where the pigment was. It was gone. Guys, I could literally start crying right now. So I told you I'm tracking my progress with the Picosure thing, and so that's why I haven't really talked much about it on here. But I just took my makeup off and I'm shook. So it got darker, but it is literally like my melasma is like coming off of my face. Like, what the? He told me I wasn't going to notice much of a difference after the first treatment, and I still have 3 more. I'm shook right now. I am shook, completely shook. Do you see how it like literally just this little piece, you can see how white it is? Like, and this is about to do the same. And I've had chemical peels before where I just get peeling, but you can still see the dark melasma. It's just a little bit lighter, but like this is almost gone, and this part, like piece, is gone. I'm just like, or the cold sore on my lip. You guys, we are on, so I had that treatment Monday. It's Friday. And I freaked out last night because it started to literally peel off. Like you can see where it's kind of been left behind the red. But look, I'm literally like watching the process. Like it got real hard and it's literally just disappearing before my eyes. And you can see, it's been there for so freaking long. You can see there's still a little piece here. I usually, when I get chemical peels, like want to pick at things so bad. I have no desire to do that because I don't want to mess with the process, but I'm just like, I am shocked, especially considering he said not to expect to notice any difference after the first time. So I have like the melasma here, which I haven't noticed any bit of a change, but I mean, these lines are like literally disappeared. And this one was here last night. You'll see the clip, and now it's, I wish I could still show you that same skin, but we just came back from a trip in Disney, and I was a little nervous about going because although we usually go in the summer, it's hot. It's still freaking hot when you're there in October. And I brought it up to my dermatologist, and I asked him if we should postpone the appointment, and he said no. He's like, just wear sunscreen and keep your face covered, which is what I did. And I was super, super diligent about my sunscreen every half hour. I had a hat on, I had glasses. I even like had my hair like this over my hat so I could really try to like avoid it hitting no sun hit my face. But the first night I took my makeup off, and sure enough, I started to notice a little bit of it coming back, and I wanted to cry, you guys. I wanted to cry. But I am convinced that it is not the sun that brought it back. It is the heat that brought it back. It's when your internal temperature just gets too hot and your skin gets too hot. And I've heard that heat can trigger it, but I am like a walking example because I was not in the sun. I was walking in the sun, but my face was not in the sun that entire day. And even if it was, I was covered to the max with layers and layers of sunscreen. So here we are. You can't, I wanted to show you my skin like last week in this video. I'm going to try to wipe off. Like I said, I just have a little tinted sunscreen on. It's not nowhere near where it was before I did the Picosure. It's definitely not as bad, and it's not to the extreme, but you can kind of still see that little line there, and it definitely like doesn't go all the way up like it used to, but it's a lot lighter than what it was. I'm not that upset though, because I know that the Picosure works, and I have another appointment in 2 weeks and this will go away again. But now the trick is trying to figure out how to manage this, because while I don't sit in the sun and bask, and I don't hang out in the summertime, you know, all the time, I do like to be outside with my kids. We do take a trip to Florida every summer. And although I can keep my face and skin covered, I have to keep my body temperature down. So if anybody has suggestions, I have to talk to the dermatologist and see what he recommends. You want to live your life. I don't want to stop living my life because of this stuff on my face. And I do have a lot of hope that I can just go do this treatment. I don't know how often I could do it, but I could do it if it gets really bad again. And maybe I won't need to be doing like 4 treatments. But I wanted to make this video because he told me not to expect any results after 1 treatment, and I for sure thought this were going to take all 4 treatments to go away, and it went away like this. Now granted, it might be different for everyone, and I still have this melasma. My mustache, my upper lip is still a little bit darker. I'm also Greek and Italian. I should have said that in the beginning. So I do have that like darker olive tone skin and the shadow. So I do expect this melasma to get a lot better, and this, and hopefully some of these acne scars on my face to lighten. But really, like I've said from the beginning, if nothing else, I could just get rid of these lines. I can live with this, and I can live with this. Those do not make me insecure. It's so easy to cover with makeup, but these, because I'm usually like, if I don't have to wear foundation every day, I don't want to wear foundation every day. I'd much rather slap on some tinted sunscreen, a little bit of cream blush, put some mascara on, and call it a day. That is the goal here, is to just not have to worry about wanting to even out my skin so much. But if you guys are in the same boat as me, I wanted to encourage you to look into this Picosure laser. Definitely do your own research. Go to somebody that knows what they are doing. I would not be trying to go to a tattoo shop to get your melasma removed. Do your research, but look into this if you are in the melasma world. I don't feel like it's talked about, shared, not be very well known yet. So we want to get the word out. But I got to tell you, like, the feeling I got that day when I looked back in the mirror and I was like, it is gone. There is nothing better. You can see a little bit here. I mean, it's definitely not nowhere near where it was at one point, but I hope that this video was helpful. I'm going to continue to document my experience with it. I'll do an update. Like I said, I have another appointment in November, December, and then January, February if I need it. But I want to talk to my dermatologist more. I want to find out if it's safe and okay to do this more frequently, if it's okay to do it just one time if I need to do it, and see if there's any solution to keeping my body temperature at an even level to not let this spike up, because I was only in Florida for 4 days, and you know, one of the days it was cloudy. I wasn't in the sun for 4 days. It just took that one day of just being really hot. And basically, like, keep up with good skincare. I'm still using an AHA and a retinol. I might be trying Triluma. I talked to him a little bit about that as just a preventative. But I wanted to share this video because I know how much melasma sucks, and I know how amazing it feels to have clear, bright skin looking back at you in the mirror. And a lot of us will do whatever it takes to feel better in our skin. So if you guys have questions, I'll try to answer as best as I can. But I just really wanted to make this video for those of you that are in the same boat and encourage you to check out the Picosure laser for melasma, because I really feel like it works. And like I said, I have tried everything at this point. So thank you guys for watching. We will keep you posted on my progress. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.